So, good morning, everyone. This is Ali Azzuddin from Fourth Generation for Education, and this is our last free webinar day for this academic year. We are talking about agency. In 1 year, Barbara, we've done more than 100 webinars. So I'm so excited
Oh my
to have you this morning to talk about agency. And if you are noticing in the chat, we have people writing in Arabic, writing in English, and maybe in French on other languages. So feel
gosh.
free to introduce where you are watching from and what do you do in the chat. And remember to put all panelists and attendees. I'm also live on Facebook for the people who would like to watch us on Facebook. And we will be also interacting with them. The Q&A section is for all your questions, and then the chat is for all the interaction. Let's start officially. People are watching from the US, from Jordan, from Lebanon, from South Africa, where it's freezing. Hello, Tracy. And many other countries like Thailand, Saudi Arabia, and Lebanon, my home country. So reimagining personalized learning to empower learner agency with Barbara Bray this morning. Let's have a start. Good morning, Barbara.
Good morning. Well, for me, it's late night.
I know, 9 a.m. in Dubai and 10 p.m. where you are.
That's right. It's not that late. It's just wonderful to be here with everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me.
So we're ready to start and to know who are you?
Well, you want me to just share myself or just go and check and see who's here?
I checked a little bit, and so we have Catherine from Jordan, we have Tracy from South Africa, Noma, she's watching from Dubai, and then Majid from Jordan. We have some PE teacher, some homeroom teacher, coordinator. So you have a diversity of people watching and attending. We have Supriya from India. Hello, Supriya. And please remember to put all panelists and attendees. Melanie is watching from Melbourne, Australia. Fatim is on Facebook.
I love all
Suna
this.
is on Facebook. They are watching from Jordan, Amman. And voila. So a big group watching us. And we're ready to give it a start.
Okay, so I'm going to go to the next slide, and because there's a little bit about me on that. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here. I'm Barbara Bray, and I live in Oakland, California, which is 20 minutes from San Francisco. A lot of people don't know where Oakland is. I've been in education over 30 years, and well, I've been a teacher, I've been a consultant, I'm a coach, I have a podcast, and I even host a Twitter chat. I do all that kind of crazy stuff. But I am a published author. I have 3 books, and I'll share some of the information from them.
I have 2 of your 3 books, and that's how we got in touch, Barbara.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. That's such an honor. I love it. So this has just been just looking at all the people that are going to be showing up for just 7 people talking about agency from all over the world. I just love it. And I feel so honored to be here. So I'm going to start. Does that sound good?
Yes, let's give it a start.
Oh, it looks like someone gave it. Was that you? Oh, there you did. You put everyone in. I love it.
Yes, I put all the links of the upcoming sessions today.
Perfect. Oh, well, we'll have to do that several times because it'll go way up.
True.
Okay, so today,
what did you prepare for us? We have some questions here. So what are the questions that we are going to unpack together?
Well, I thought one thing, Ali, you just gave me some wonderful templates. So I kept your template. I kept guiding questions. And so I had to think, and I had to come up with pictures because that's who I am. And one of the things that I always do is talk about the learning and ownership. So that's going to be one of the first things I talk about is who owns the learning. And we're going to talk about what happens with ownership. And then, oh, that's right. There's a handout, and I'll tell them about that after you put after I finish this. I'm going to talk about universal design for learning, which is how we learn best. And when I first learned about that, I realized I was doing it all wrong. And so when I learned about understanding how we learn depending on so many factors, I just can't wait to share that with you. And then I'm going to talk about the skills that we need for our future, only because are we preparing our kids right? You know, I want us to think about that. And I thought it would be good if I could show you some strategies on how we can build our own learning backpack. And then at the end, I want to address again, kind of come back to teaching and learning so learners have agency. So Ali put the handout link in the chat, and I wanted to make sure you have all the links to everything I share. And also there's a link to the slides, because I like to give everything away. It's kind of nice so everyone can have them.
And
I hope
the
that's
session
good.
is recorded, Barbara, so they will be able also to see it on YouTube if they would like to share it with the teachers later on. So,
Oh, that'd be great. Well, I love hearing what they think. So just let me know. You can write in the chat anything, and I can see it. So because I'm going to try to look at the chat occasionally and just be able to reflect. So I have a video. And in this video, it's from Dr. Michael Wesch. He's a professor at Kansas State University, and he created this some time ago, but I love the ideas he puts in about baby George. So I want you to watch this and consider some of the points he has and what that means for you. Okay, so let's see if you can. I hope this works. We didn't try it, so we'll see. Okay, here goes.
All right. So these are what Baby George and handstands have taught me about learning. This is George.
Had to take that first step, and nobody could do it for us. And something happens when you go to school. Sometimes we forgot that you have to give them opportunities and ourselves opportunities to fail, take time, try things over and over and over again. And that's one of the things I wanted you to see with this. So I'm going to take you to the next slide, but I want you to reflect on baby George when we get there. Okay. Okay, this is about who owns the learning. And Alan November came up with that question, and it just stuck with me. That idea that we can drive ourselves, we can drive our own learning, and we don't have to give up. So when you look at this chart, this is the idea that you can have ownership at different levels. Where do you think, what level do you think baby George is in? Write it in the chat. Which one of these?
So is it understanding? Is it investment? Is it compliance? Or is it autonomy? And we're making connection to the video of baby George. And while we are waiting for all your responses, I wrote last week a blog article, Barbara, and then I referred to this whole idea of learning from failure, and we should not be afraid from failing because this is a process. And so in that chat, I'm getting people saying understanding, I'm getting people saying autonomy.
Autonomy.
And so, let's check if we will have other perspective, and then maybe some people will say investment or compliance. Some people are putting together understanding and investment. Some people are now adding investment by itself. So they are making all the combination.
They're wonderful. You know, think about that. Nobody had to show him how to go down those stairs and walk on his own. So where did we lose that autonomy? Where did we lose it? Was it in school? Was it from when our parents told us how to do things? Somehow we need to come back and be able to have that autonomy again, so we own it. I love this group, by the way, because the last group I did this with investment, hardly anyone with autonomy. I just think they're, but that's okay. It's all in your own, perception. So let's go to the next slide. Thank you, everyone. This was wonderful. So what I want to share, I think some of you might have seen this before, but we're in the fourth industrial revolution. Everything is changing. You know that it's changing. You know that even the pandemic changed a lot of things for everybody right now. And we just want everyone safe. But here's the thing. What we're looking at is there's so many skills that people are going to need now that they didn't before. They're going to need to know how to fail and try again and again and again. They're going to be getting jobs where they're actually, I don't remember who said it, but in 5 years, almost 50% of our jobs will be gone. We'll have new jobs that we never even expected to happen. So when you look at 2030, which one of those skills sticks out to you that you feel you really hope that your kids have? Just, is there one in 2030 that you see? Write that in the chat.
So from 1 to 10 in the chat, which one you feel is maybe important? So I can see number 5 from Summer, number 7 from Majid.
You can put the number, you can write, or you can.
It's faster, and then now I cannot track all the numbers.
It's okay, I'm gonna do an activity. See, all of them, whatever, but I found that a lot of people have said originality or learning strategies, the active learning. So I just want you to know this. Think about your pre-K and kindergarten kids. Did you know that they will be in high school in 2030? Just like baby George, he'll be like 8th grade, year 8 or 8th grade, depending on how you word it. So what happens is we wait too long to teach these skills. We can't wait till 2030 to teach these skills. When do you think we should start working on 2030 skills?
From yesterday, yeah? Now, Kim.
You're right. So we need to look at some strategies that'll really help kids understand. Maybe we need to figure out them up for ourselves too, because if we're going to be teaching these, we need to know what they mean. So let's go to the next slide. Thank you. Oh my gosh, this is such a great group. I love everyone in the chat. It's just so wonderful. I'm glad I could figure that out.
Yes.
That I could.
they are active and then they are committed. I know many of them, they will attend the whole day today. So
well, you're going to have a wonderful day. I'm going to be asleep, but okay. So here's Saga Briggs wrote this about what skilled learners do differently. And I just like to look at it and bring it back again. So there's a link to it for you. But I always think of this thinking on their own, because it kind of takes over it's like a redundant from the last slide. But I wanted you just to get an eye to this. To make mistakes work for them. Look up answers. We have standardized tests here in the United States. They're not allowed to use Google or look up answers. But I'm just going to tell you, I did some work with Google some time ago where I was observing how they kind of do their interview process. And I was on the other side of a mirror with a window looking out, and they had 5 candidates and they gave them a problem and they had them try to solve the problem as a team. And we got to observe them and see which one would be the best candidate. They could look up answers. They could Google anything they wanted just to figure out what would work. And it was interesting to see which person they chose as the candidate was not the leader. It was the one that was more of a collaborator. So it's that idea of teaching others, living, working with others, being process oriented. So I just wanted you to see that, because we're going to have different kinds of jobs in the future, which means we're going to need different skills. So this is just a good article. I think you'll like it. Now, this is from Todd Rose. I don't know if you've seen, Ali, have you ever seen this book or heard about it? Okay, he has a TED Talk also. And what I love is when I first heard this, he talked about there were some jet pilots that were constantly crashing and they couldn't figure out why they were crashing. And so one of the things that happened was they were trying to figure out what's wrong with the pilots. It has to be the pilot's fault, right? And so Dr. Rose was invited to come in and work with this agency and look at the jets. And he saw that all the seats were the same, the seats in the cabin, but all the pilots were different sizes. So he said, there is no average pilot. So they had to adjust the seats so they could get closer, be up higher. And guess what? They stopped crashing. So that made him look at learning. He said, there's something wrong with learning where everyone is teaching to the average. So what can we do to really make it so everyone meets their needs the best way for them? So this book is wonderful. His TED Talk, I have a link for it for you. You probably want to see it because it's just amazing. And he talks about everyone has a learning map. So the criteria on the left might be different for Ali and different for me. But if you took everyone in the class and they did a map and put them on top of each other, there won't be one identical map. So how do you teach everyone if they're all so different? And that's where we need to turn the learning over to them so they can take ownership of it. I hope I'm making that clear.
I think in that chat, people are interacting with you and they just added the word personalized the learning.
Aha! I wonder where that came from. No, that's right. Thank you. So I want to make sure, because I was, when I first heard about this learning map, I thought, that makes so much sense. So I started working years ago with CAST. It's the Center for Assistive Technology. And what they have is Universal Design for Learning. So we were going to do a poll. So I think I have a slide, the next one. I don't know how many people have heard of Universal Design for Learning. Why don't we find out?
Let's find out. So on your screen, you have the question UDL, Universal Design of Learning. I can teach it. I know about it. I heard about it. I know nothing about it. And so feel free to put your answer and so we can check your understanding. And we are modeling best practices, Barbara, right? We need to know who are our audience to be able to take them further in this webinar. And so I'm giving a few more seconds so I can allow many of our attendees to reflect on this question. People on Facebook, unfortunately, you don't have the Zoom link, but you can still answer. We have a lot of interaction on Facebook and UBD. So sorry, not UBD.
UDL. I've done UBD too.
But again, so we are used to the UBD, understanding by design. So we're talking about UDL, Universal Design for Learning. I can teach it. I know about it. I heard about it, or I know nothing about it. And so I'm going to end the poll here and I'm going to share the results. So 46%, they don't know about it.
I can't see it. Can you?
Okay, so.
Can everybody see it? Or there it is.
Okay,
there it is.
So 46% they don't know about it. 39, they've heard about it. 7% they know about it, and 9% they can teach it.
Okay, well then maybe if you don't mind, the ones that can teach it, maybe if I don't say something, go ahead and write it in.
Yes, so the people who know and they can teach it, put in the chat your perspective about it. I can see Mary, she's very active. She's sharing some resources as well on equity and inequality in the chat. So we're ready to go and to continue and to see what do we have about UDL.
Okay, do we close
And we have a full webinar about UDL. So for the people who would like to know more, they can check our YouTube channel where we have a full session on UDL, Universal Design for Learning.
Oh, good. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next. I'm going to have to close the
poll. You can close it from your side because you're with me. Yeah.
Okay, so this is Universal Design for Learning, and what it does, it's about the way your brain works. And there's 3 different networks. There's an affective network, which is the why of learning, recognition network, the what of learning, and strategic network on the how of learning. And what they did is they took it a little deeper on the why is engagement. And that's all about motivating kids, motivating learners so they're stimulated. You know how baby George was pretty excited about going up and down the stairs, but if you had turned around and said, I need you to do that, I need you to go up and down, I don't know if baby George would do that. But when you're really motivated and you have a purpose and you want to learn how to walk or you want to learn how to do some kind of skill, you're excited about it. And that's that why, that's the purpose. The what is the knowledge that you need and how the information is presented and how you process that. And then the how is how you actually, what you do. So it's the way you learn, it's the process, and it's how you keep, a lot of times it's on how you monitor your progress. And also it's about having the goals, and you're the one that's keeping track of where you are on the goals. Okay, so I want to take you in a little bit deeper. And this is a kind of, there's a lot on here, but I just wanted to show you. And I have 2 different URLs on here, but I put them on the link. The way they set up these guidelines is that it goes across and down. So when you look at the access level, This is just like you're starting to build on this why, the what, and the how. So under access, you're just maybe a teacher provided choice, a choice board for some things, but maybe it's also minimizing distractions. When you're moving to the next level, it's the build level. And this is where you want to optimize the challenges. You want to figure out ways that maybe kids could work together. And the last is you're internalizing it. And so the way they set it up, you can actually see this on the Universal Design for Learning site at CAST. But I also have a website, and I wrote a lot of this on that website for you. And you can also go to the webinar that Ali told you about. Did they talk about the guidelines like this? Do you remember?
Yes, Mary, and sorry, yes, Barbara. Mary, she also put the link about CAST in the chat. So it's we're sharing everything for all the people who are hearing about UDL for the first time today.
Oh, Mary, thank you. Oh, see, we just have to connect, Mary.
Yes.
This is great. This is great. I love it. It's really nice when you know, because you get excited when you learn about this, because you go, so that's it. So that's why they're having problems, because we just jumped right in and expected them to go ahead. Why aren't you learning this, right? But if you can start and figure out where they are on that process, you have to customize a display, or someone has problems seeing, or they don't understand because they don't understand the what you're saying. They need it in written form also. So that's kind of what Universal Design for Learning is about. Universal Design first started, just to let you know, because I worked with the CAST in Berkeley. They started basically on changing buildings and working in architecture. So if someone is in a wheelchair, they needed a ramp. And they were some of the first ones that started with that. And then they started bringing in learning devices. And then they said, maybe we need to design learning strategies. And so that's how it all worked with them. I'm going to go to the next, but this is here for you. You'll be able to come back and look at it.
True.
So from that, I took, this is my learner profile for me. I needed to figure out from a form that I filled out, where am I with engagement? What kinds of challenges do I have? And same with representation and action and expression. And what I found is I needed to figure out why I'm getting so anxious. I was really anxious before he started until I saw you, Ellie, and because I felt more comfortable because we had talked before. But when you first start with something and you don't know it, it depends on you and how you handle it. And I wanted to learn how to handle things better. I wanted to pursue more interests. And I wrote this before I wrote my last book. My last book is Define Your Why. It's all about the why.
I have it.
You have it too? Oh, I didn't know you got that book. Oh, you can't see it because you're in the background.
Yes, with the background.
Yeah.
And I asked our attendees to share their challenges and their strengths in the chat so we can see who they are as well.
Oh, go ahead and do that. Actually, put your strengths first.
Yes.
Put strengths.
Okay, strengths first. So we have innovation from Shibani. We have adaptability from Anne. And
that's
so
good.
We have flexibility from Malika.
Wow. Those are things that were on that list too, you know, on the skills.
Tolerance. Yeah,
tolerance,
so good.
Oh my goodness. Challenges are hard. You know why? Because we have so many that sometimes we're afraid to let anyone know. Especially if you're working with, I taught middle school, which I don't know if you call it middle school, but it's year 6 through 8. So, and those kids, you know, they don't want other kids knowing what's wrong with them. So we had to change it a little bit so it's more on the strengths, and then they can talk to them about it. We also asked them to put in what are their interests, their talents, their things that get them excited, and you know, they just want to do more. So tell me what I call it flow. I'm in the flow when I go in the garden and I don't want to stop. My husband has to come in and tell me, you know, come on back in, Barbara. Or when I'm reading something and I just can't stop. What is it that you love so much that you get in the flow? Write that in the chat, because that's kind of exciting when you hear what people love so much.
I'm commenting on Majd. She said she find it very challenging to learn from failure. So I'm referring her to my recent blog. And then if we are starting with the things that they love, we have reading, we have drawing, we have playing the flute, we have...
Mona says working.
Yeah, working. Then the work is a passion for Muna, because usually when your work is your passion, it's not really work. So Kim, working with colleagues, eating food.
I love that.
Hopefully with not a lot of extra kilos.
Yeah, that's right.
Investigation from Victoria and research.
Wow. Well, this is something kids love. If you can do this with them, this is exciting. And I also do brainstorming on descriptive words about you. And so I did a thing in my book about pick 4 things. And for me, it's creative, curious, silly, and kind. I guess I am really silly. So it's what people say about you. And so you can put 1 or 2 things. What descriptive word, or if you want to do 2, one that someone says about you and one thing that you know about you.
Like if I want to talk about myself, I would say they say I'm a creative, and I know I'm a creative.
You are. So go ahead, just put anything.
Mona is saying caring, kind for Malika, so kind and supportive for Majid, helpful for Shibani, and so Shibani, do they say this about you, or do you know it about yourself? So Janice, she's saying very direct, a hard worker. Interesting.
Yes, they do say this. Going the extra mile. I just put up a thing about going the extra mile today. So that's really good. See,
multitasker for Anne. Good. So
see, isn't that wonderful? You should just put when I have a bad day, I put all the nice things people have said about me. I put them all around. Okay. On that note, I better go because I only have so much time. I just love seeing what they have written. Okay, so after you kind of know a little bit about yourself, then, or about the students, then what you do are, what are the skills and competencies to help them with options to recruit interest? If they're not motivated, what can you do? And then what are the learning strategies they will get out of that? And maybe some of the methods. For me to recruit, I've used UDL many times, but I look at different types of activities to give them more voice, more choice, and even the growth mindset. So these are just a few ideas, but when you're working with yourself or with someone else, this kind of helps me if I look at the guidelines and go a little deeper. What are the skills? And then what are the learning strategies go with them? I want to just share something that I worked with Michael Muhammad he's a physics teacher in New York and a high school physics teacher. And he wanted his kids to do passion projects. And with the passion projects, they decided to do all of those in Google Sites. And then he uses Pear Deck. So these are some of the things that he's learned. This was his thing that he wanted to learn. But the students went further. So there's links to all their passion pages and their artifacts and their learning preferences. And I want you to think about this I think it's the next slide. What can you do in any grade level where you can collect artifacts, collect evidence of learning? Because the more they can do on their own, they get really excited and they're proud of themselves. So
Barbara, yesterday or on Thursday, I was talking to a school principal, and I'm sharing this idea. And again, for all the leaders who are watching us this morning, I want to spread it as much as I can. Why, if you're back completely to normal, like face-to-face teaching and learning next academic year, why not to keep some asynchronous day during the academic year where the student can work by themselves at home on their passion project, and your teacher are at the school doing some professional development? Because we don't want to just go back to the face-to-face and then forget all the new learning that we got from synchronous and asynchronous online, and all the challenges that we faced. And we want to integrate completely this in our school system and in our calendar. So I'm seeing great ideas in the chat. If you are a school leader, I would love to hear if you are going to take this further and maybe embedded in your academic calendar, because I know I'm making it happen with a group of school in Morocco, and then I'm planning also to do it here with a group of school in Dubai. So let's see.
Yeah, well,
because usually they are going to tell you, we don't have time for these passion projects. So let's put it in our calendar and work on them. And again, once you define it in a very clear way and you give ownership for the student, it will happen. No? What do you think, Barbara?
Well, Ali, there's another slide. We're always going to talk about that, but that's okay. I love it that you did already, because it's like we're reinforcing it. To me, passion projects are important. And I even like teachers to do them. I do it for professional development. You know, I find that it's really important if we have something to model. So that's just another idea. Oops, did you freeze? I'm going to go on to the next one. I lost Ali for a minute. Okay, so this is the personal learning backpack. This idea, I hope you come back. We lost him for just a minute.
But you can continue.
Okay, I got, all of a sudden you froze and I went, oh no. Okay, personal learning backpack. This idea, a lot of schools are using backpacks to take the portfolios, to take the artifacts, to take all of these things. And I said, the other thing you need to bring in are the skills, the strategies, and the tools. So that's one of the things I'm trying to pull it all together where they own it. It's their backpack. They can take it with them through grade. And that way, it's something that they can show how much they've grown, how much they've learned, even with some of the mistakes. But just this idea of it's okay to go a little further. So I want to take you to Chris Watkins' work. He's in the UK. He wrote this some time ago. He has a whole site with unbelievable resources. This one stuck out for me because the idea that we've been always trying to prove ourselves with the performance orientation. And with doing that, we're placed in grade levels, we're placed by age, we have letters, we have grades. And there's some things with grades that just are really difficult because it's very subjective. When you go to learning orientation, what you're getting is you're driven more by the student goals, by effort. The performance is by effort, not by grades. You can see the progress level based by demonstrating mastery, and they can accelerate the pace through their own goals with you. So it's the idea of proving performance versus improving learning. So think about that. And there's a lot on here. I wrote this because I was working with several districts, and I took this from, it's called CCSO. It's an agency for superintendents and leaders. And they had created something like this. So when I worked with several districts, they wanted to personalize it. And they wanted to figure out where they are with all the criteria on the left when they're building the foundation, and how they can move from a traditional, the traditional environment, traditional teaching and learning, to the innovative. And so what we ended up doing is taking each one of these cells and describing them So when we click on it, it went further. But what they wanted to also do when they got to invested in innovative, they wanted to be able to click on it and actually have evidence from the classrooms, from the teachers, from the students, even interviews, even reflections. So that area of, if you look at how students learn, know how they learn best, their backpacks and their profiles might be in there. So you have examples. So this could be a document for a school, a district, or your class, whatever you decided, where you could be moving and showing, actually, we're moving to this. This is a continuum moving to agency. Okay. I'm getting there. I'm trying to get there on agency.
Have around 20 minutes, Barbara.
I have 20 minutes left?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's not bad. I'm not, I don't have too many left. So, okay. So this is two teachers I worked with. They co-teach a K-1 school in Wisconsin, and they call it Ageless and Gradeless. They also do some exciting things. So the classroom itself, this is before COVID, but when, you know, the kids, it was like a big living room, really. They even had, if you see, there's a saddle down at the bottom right. But they did something really cool. They did, every morning they did a seminar, 15-minute seminar where the kids signed up to teach the other kids. So you could have a seminar, one going, or, you know, one person teaching whatever they wanted to teach. It could be tying shoes, it could be whatever they wanted. But every morning, that's how they got to share what they know, what they love. It's not show and tell. It was actually a learning seminar by the kids. I just thought that was really cool, because then you teach, you learn more. They also did what they call generative curriculum. What they would do is, like, just for one example, they were walking outside and the kids would look around and ask questions. The teacher would write the questions down, they'd come back, and that would be their curriculum, answering the questions. That's generative curriculum from the kids. So I want you just to think about that as an idea. This one, I was very lucky to do some work in New Zealand. I recommend everyone to go there. It's just beautiful. And the schools, the ones that I got to visit, and I visited about 20, they were all K-8, the ones that I saw. I worked with some high schools. Some of the high schools were a little different, but several of the schools had 100 kids in one room with 4 teachers. And then they were very large with different areas you could go. And several of them had trusted learner badges. The learners had to demonstrate that they could be free to walk around the school, ask questions, work anywhere, and then they earned that badge. And then they could actually help other kids. The thing that I liked was, you see the 6th to 8th upper right, 6th to 8th passion projects. They were in their little cubicle and they were working on their year-long passion projects. Every school I went to had a year-long passion project. So I just wanted to tell you what that's like. I'm the kind that if I go into school, you can't get me out of the room, because I was down on the floor with them and I had to talk to them. And the young woman in the front, young lady, she's eighth grade, so she told me she was learning patchwork, which is quilting. And she really wanted to learn mainly about, she really wanted to learn something from her grandma. Her grandmother made these beautiful quilts. So her grandmother became her mentor. Think about, anyone could be your mentor all year long. And what she did is she had to keep track of what she was learning, how she was learning it, take videos of her grandmother and her, and that she was able to present her quilt at the end of the year. Another one is one of the children in the back told me she wanted to learn Greek. how to speak Greek because her family is from Greece. And she had her uncle teach her, and her uncle was her mentor. So the thing is, it's something around they're interested in, but the teacher doesn't have to teach it. A passion project could be something that you want to learn all year long. And you've always wanted to learn a language, or you've always wanted to do something. Find a mentor to help you. Do you like that? I like that. Anyway, I'm moving on to the next one because I don't want to run out of time. I have too much. I hope you like it, everyone. How many of you know about the Sustainable Development Goals? I just find that it's really exciting to be able to, okay, a lot of you do already. Wonderful. I am a Teach SDGs ambassador. And one of the things, oh, good. You know what? We're going to try to connect. I need to connect them to people here in the States because we have people going, I need to do some of these things together. Yeah, the Teach SDG goals, they just have some really cool ones right now. They're doing on climate action. But the thing that is so cool, there's so many resources. If you go to this website, you go to Teach SDGs, you go to Global Goals, all of the places, all of them are free. And these resources have everything you need. So I think a lot of people know about them, so I don't have to go into it. But when kids actually work on something globally and act locally, it's pretty exciting. It's really, really exciting. And then they own it. So projects, collaborative projects help. So I want to try to take you into addressing, I talked about, that idea of getting interest, but sometimes you have to spark the curiosity. And during this time with the pandemic, it's been really hard. Like you were saying, Ellie, it's like, why should we give up something that's been working for a lot of people because they've been able to collaborate? So we need to talk about the emotional impact of uncertainty. And I was going to do a whole thing on social emotional, and Ali said, well, no. Your friend Eileen is going to be doing
Yes, it will be session 3 for today.
You have to see Eileen. Eileen and I do a lot of work together. She's in Kuwait, but I met her and we're like soul sisters. She better say that when she talks. You just see. But anyway, she's got a whole thing on belonging, and I do a whole thing on SEL, social emotional learning, and we pull it together with personalized learning and agency. So there's a lot of things you can do to invite families, talk about making mistakes and learning from them and all of that. There's another one article I saw that was really cool. It's 24 ways. I say to your empowering learner agency doing this. It's like do things in the opposite way, write with the other hand, follow an interest, do all of those things, like teach them to play, and observe and see what's around. The problem we have a lot of times is our curriculum doesn't give us time to really breathe and really see how marvelous our world is. And so if we can find some ways that they can even record a book, read it out loud and record it so they can hear it, and then someone else can listen to it. Just think about all of this. So there's time-wise, we do have time. I'm going to have you. Do you have another way that you might develop curiosity that's not on here? Name said, I love how learning from our mistakes can also be intentionally worked on instead of just waiting for learners to fail. We invite them to come and make mistakes. Oh my gosh. I love that.
Very nice reflection.
Is there anything anyone else does to kind of encourage that curiosity? They're thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good, Cindy. Mistakes are the stepping stones to learning and becoming better. do we give them enough time to make mistakes and then try again? Ooh, provocation equals igniting curiosity. Oh, I love that. I got to save that one. Providing space and time. Yes. Yes. If we have time, we use these strategies to do the learning. This is the learning, and we shouldn't have to fit not in. We have to take the time to do this and build those skills, because if we just feed content that they can Google, you know, we're not teaching them things they're going to need for that future. So I'm going to go to the next. Oh, we should lead by example. I think they like this idea of mistakes, Lily.
True.
Okay, this is the last slide before we go to reflections.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to look at this. This is actually taking that idea of expert learners from UDL, purposeful and motivated, resourceful and knowledgeable, and strategic and goal-directed. When you look at this, this is what agency means. One of the ones that I want you to point to is that they own the learning, but they also take responsibility on the ones held accountable for the learning. I've worked with so many teachers that have been so frustrated because the kids get so compliant by the time it's like in high school. They go, you're supposed to teach me. I'm not supposed to be the one that does this. You're the one that does this. And parents actually do that sometimes, right? So we need to somehow, how can they take the responsibility and be accountable for their learning? What do you think about this? Do we have time for reflection?
Yeah, and then I would like also to share my screen a little bit, Barbara, for
okay. So
yeah.
let me so look at that. But I was going to let me just go to this. I had this for reflection, but we can, if you want, I can show them my. I just want to show them my last. If they want to wait, if we don't have time, I just want you to know this is all of me, all of this. And so you have access, and it's also on the handout, but those are my 3 books. I have a podcast with over 115 podcasts and 15 reflections. And I'd love some people from, you know, other countries, because I think the United States, it's just like a silo. We need to know what's going on in the world. And I think that if I'm right now, I'm lucky. I've had people from many countries. I've been lucky. But I think we need to get more of us talking together.
True.
So I'm ready to go.
I highly recommend Define Your Why, because it's a very inspiring book, Barbara.
Oh, thank you. There's a whole section on Ikigai.
True.
We'll have to come back and do that one another time. So what would you like me to do? Do you want?
So I would like you to stop sharing the screen now, and then I'm going to share mine.
Okay.
And I'm going to invite our attendees to have a look at our website. So we have a paid PD this month. So if you are interested in learning about concepts and learning that transfer, so this is a way to wrap up your academic year if you are finishing the academic year soon. And then remember that the next session in approximately 20 minutes from now, it will be about teacher agency. And we will have a very interesting session from a principal perspective. We mentioned Eileen, and then we will be talking about developing relationships. Then after the break, I will be speaking in Arabic, and I have a guest speaker, and we will try to define agency in Arabic. Then we will continue, and we will check agency from an early years perspective, agency from a specialist perspective, an art teacher and the head of art department, and then we will wrap up the day with becoming agentic educator. So this is what do we have for today. I hope we inspired you at the beginning of the day, and I have one question for Barbara. And would you share a checklist or a success criteria to an agentic educator?
Me? Oh, you're talking about me. Well, I'm actually working with a school district right now where they have what they call a profile of a graduate. So where they want them to be, then they created not a checklist, but a 1-point rubric for each of the areas. So they can end up using that for, it's almost like competency based. And that way, I'm looking at the chat while I'm talking. I'm sorry.
Focus.
Focus. Yeah, but what I found is one template doesn't work for everybody, and that's what personalized learning is all about. And with the agency, if you look at those that last slide, and if you want to use that as a checklist, and then how can they demonstrate that they meet it, and then develop some way of collecting that evidence. Because I find it's really difficult for some teachers to all of a sudden change everything unless the system changes. Does that make sense? Because that's one of the things I'm starting to work with is school systems and look at new designs. So it's not the teacher trying to come up with this. Does that help? I hope.
I think we answered the question for I think for checking also the chat with you. We have a question about Nima is asking about UDL. The session took place previously, so it's on our YouTube channel. You can check that session. I shared in the chat all the links for the upcoming session, our website, and the YouTube. Barbara, I think we inspired our participants this morning, and thank you again for being with us. And have a good night.
Oh, thank you, everyone. This was wonderful. I really hope I was able to at least open the door to the 6 other presentations.
True.
Thank you.
So 15-minute break, and then after the break, teacher agency with Karen, waiting to see you. Invite your friends and join us.
Thank you, everyone. I want to save the chat though. Can you